Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the prime time newscast in the English language on Canal International. I'm called Morinzi at Top Stories. The president of the Confederation of African Football, Patrice Motsepe, has reassured that there shall be no postponements of the Total Energies African Cup of Nations in Cameroon. The tournament, he says, will kick off on January 9 as scheduled, but with strict respect of vaccination before access to the stadium. And several people have been arrested in Kusuri in a raid by defense and security forces. An effort meant to restore peace in the Logon and Share division in the far north region of Cameroon. And in this edition, we paint the ambience in travel agencies transporting people to Bamenda in the northwest, that is in the northwest and southwest region. Feel these to a Christmas. We paints will tell you about the state of mind of passengers as they take the road to the crisis regions. As follow-up of the suspected incest affairs broadcast not long ago, the Vogue Manga One family condemns their 2 children suspected in the abominable practice. Those are major stories. Details are right ahead. Good evening once more. I'll begin with sports news. The president of the Confederation of African Football has reassured that there shall be no postponement of the Total Energies African Cup of Nations in Cameroon. The tournament, he says, will kick off on January 9 as scheduled, but with the strict respect of vaccination before access to the stadium. Patrice Motsepe reiterates that the world must trust Africa in the management of the COVID-19 continental tournaments and full stadium league matches taking place in Europe and other parts of the world. While the special doubt on Africa, Motsepe was speaking of this evening after visiting the Unity Palace. Let's take a listen.
Look at what has happened at the Arab Cup. There were thousands and thousands of spectators. I went to Wembley to watch the European Cup final. You know, we must always identify problems and challenges and not shy away from them. But we must also have the confidence and the belief that we can overcome them and deal with them in a responsible and accountable manner. So we have said nobody will be allowed into the stadium without a PCR test, because we have to protect those spectators who will be there. And of course, there's a concern that there'll be lots of fake tests going around. We are dealing with those issues because I will be getting a report after the AFCON. And one of the things we know is that the experiences of our people are very important. You cannot fool people. If there are problems that people have identified and problems that people have experienced and we have not dealt with those, they will legitimately identify those. But we have to have confidence and belief in ourselves as Africans. And we have to have confidence and belief in ourselves that we can host a very successful AFCON 2021 in Cameroon that will make the people of Cameroon proud and make the people of
And the Minister of Water and Energy have reassured Cameroonians that there will be more stable electricity in major towns across the country during the Total Energy African Cup of Nations visiting the Nashigal Hydroelectric Dam this weekend. He urged the workers to hasten up the level of work to ensure the delivery of the first kilowatts of the day before the AFCON. Take a listen to the Minister, Gaston Elundo Esomba, in the following excerpt by our reporter.
The construction work of the Nachigal Dam is progressing well. You are not about 52% in terms of realizations. There is a delay because of coronavirus, and you have a new schedule. So the first machine will be commissioned on July 2023, and last machine in July 2024. I ask to all the companies to respect these schedules. Important dam in our city, in our country, and with this dam, you'll be sure that you are going to supply North region because you went there last time. There is no water in Lagdo, so you need to increase the production here to be able to supply this region. And here, this will be the transmission line. We start here at this place, so you want to synchronize the commission of this dam and the transmission line to make interconnection for these regions.
And we take you to the far north region of Cameroon, precisely in Akusiri, where several persons have been arrested in a raid by defense and security officers, an effort meant to restore peace in the Logon and Share divisions, where intertribal conflicts have grounded activities, leaving many people, some to sought refuge in neighboring countries like Chad. More in the following story with Gladys Ambo.
More than 30 persons have been rounded up, several motorcycles without custom clearance impounded, these knives and locally made guns seized from individuals. This was during a raid carried out in some neighborhoods in the Logon and Shari division by defense and security forces on Saturday, December 18, 2021, as part of efforts to resolve the intertribal conflict between Arab Shuas and the Muslims. According to the governor of the Far North region, the systematic checks and condoning of sensitive localities were instructions given by the Minister of Territorial Administration during his visit to the region to quell down tensions. Administrative authorities were therefore afield to coordinate the operations closely.
Strict instructions were handed down during that visit, amongst them the systematic check of all entries and exits from the Logon and Shari division and neighboring localities. It was also noted that the refugees were crossing over the Logon River to commit atrocities. With that, we instructed strict controls on the banks of the river. So far, the results are encouraging and the operations will continue to other areas. Internally displaced persons are now reassured of their security. They are gradually returning to their homes and some have resumed their activities.
Mijiawa Bakari added that with the security measures put in place, classes will certainly resume at the start of the next term of this academic year, while shops and other businesses will open.
As follow-up to a suspected incest affair broadcast not long ago, the Vok Manga One family condemns the practice, the outcome of a meeting that held in the village. More on the story with Beatrice Gamu.
Setup of a traditional consultation. Here present are the members of the Vongmanga tribal family line. This for an open discussion on how to cleanse the family of the abomination committed by two of their children, two children of same family who decided to get married. Need for the family members to make sure such situation does not repeat itself. We need to explain to the population our youths, blood, tie, and kinship. They came from far and near. Children, men and women, all curious of the fate of their two children who decided to seal their marriage, despite the call and appeal by the family not to heed to the incest act. A curse is on the family. A curse means death, and it is slow death. Instigators of this kind of acts will be punished like the executors. All is not lost if the couple change their minds and join the family. Here, the traditional cleansing rites will be performed, appearing naked before the great assembly. Naked, a tied sheep is brought before them to trample on it in their naked state. A show which is a show of humiliation. A humiliation show, but said to be the only way to save them. Unfortunately, the accused were not part of the anti-party tribal rendezvous organized Sunday. Bad luck looms in the air in the Vok Manga One family.
A recent sitting of the Andek Council in Momo Division, northwest region of Cameroon, have expressed dismay with the level of encroaching bushfires enveloping the council premises in Andek, which is headquarters of Gi subdivision, as a result of threats from separatist fighters. The head of the municipal executive has promised to do something to remedy the situation. As you hear the following story with Gladys Ambu Ziba.
The mayor of the Andek Council in the Momo Division of the Northwest region of Cameroon has expressed fears that all efforts conjugated for over a year that culminated in the functioning of the council activities could be jeopardized with the recent harassment of workers by separatist fighters. Addressing a recent council session, Ubango Heli vows to put things back on the rails and invites the 24 other councillors to demonstrate love for Gi subdivision and do same.
No franc comes in as the means. It makes it difficult, especially now that we are not generating money on the ground. This 60% of the total expenditure, which is supposed to go as running, becomes very difficult to realize on the spot.
Meanwhile, for the 2022 fiscal year, the government shall be pumping in half of the over 1 billion francs CFA budget as part of the devolution of powers to local authorities, though with some strings attached.
So the Council of Andek shut the door. So the doors of Andek Council have been shut down for about 3 weeks now. But I am determined that in the days ahead, the doors must reopen. I was saying, I've always believed the policy of no work, no pay. If the workers think that they were afraid of these boys and to stay off, we'll also ask their salaries to stay off.
Another thorny issue is the long absence of the second deputy mayor, just like council workers, whose salaries are presently at stake, as the council executive promises to withhold them should the doors of the offices be kept closed.
And barely a few days to Christmas celebration, city dwellers in the crisis-hit southwest region of Cameroon have been complaining of skyrocketing prices of foodstuff and basic commodities in that part of the country. More on the story with our reporter, Ines Ondwambala.
Christmas bells have begun ringing across markets in the southwest region. Thousands of people are getting set to celebrate the birth of Christ in the crisis-hit southwest region. Markets nowadays are full to capacity, with women, men and youth, some being traders and some buyers. Basic commodities, toys, decoration gadgets are available in the markets, but these articles, products and foodstuff are not sold at giveaway prices. Buyers have been expressing disgruntlement on skyrocketing prices in the markets.
The Xmas has compared to the past Xmas. They went up this one, it is the heart. And they see the video, they produce the heart. Because now like this, every meat don't get expensive. Fowl, they will chicken, they will get another.
The lack of financial resources coupled with the security challenges faced by the southwest population makes it difficult for city dwellers to stock their houses for end-of-year feast. Fortunately, the Ministry of Trade, through the southwest regional delegation, have taken the bulls by the horns to fight against the high cost of living. These promotional sales of basic commodities currently taking place across the southwest region has come to help the population to better prepare for end-of-year feast, which are just around the corner.
And in view of getting set for Christmas and New Year festivities, inhabitants from the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon residents in Cameroon's economic city, Douala, have decided to pay a visit to their families and friends back at home despite the security challenges. Our reporter William Fru was at the Bonaberry Motor Park here in Douala. His story.
For some years now, traveling to the northwest and southwest regions necessitate special prayers.
Cancel my name from the book of the dead. Write my name in the book of life.
This is as a result of the persistent ongoing crisis in those parts of the country. In view of end-of-year festivities, people hope to return home and pay a visit to their families and friends. But unfortunately, their journey back home is full of uncertainties.
We are traveling like this by the grace of God. We are not doing it by our own grace, it's just by the mercy of God. So at times we can go like this, we meet attack. Sometimes maybe by the grace of God you can go like this, you travel safely without any problems.
Pastor Richard has been praying for the passengers for years now in order to put them under divine protection.
We saw into it that people need God's protection. And many were displaced, many are slaughtered, many are deprived from the responsibilities and the families. And we saw there's a need for us to come and be with them, comfort them, do prayers, pray and commit them to the hands of the Lord. And by so doing, we discovered that they have some joy, they have hope again to live.
The crisis have caused enormous damages and has deprived some people from returning to their hometown whenever they want.
It is not possible, but you can't do otherwise. I must pass through the road. So imagine the road between Bamenda and Banso is blocked. Banso Tundu is blocked. I have to pass through Fumban, come through Magba, all those difficult routes. But we believe by God's grace everything will be okay.
Hence, there is need for peace to be restored in order for activities to resume normally.
And we end this news on a sad note. Cameroon's finest Bikusi star Kodo Sidoni is no more. He died a few hours ago at the Yaoundé Central Hospital. He quit the scene at the age of 62. May his soul rest in perfect peace. And that brings us to the end of this edition of Newscast on Canal de International. Thanks so much for watching. We have news in the French language at exactly 19:05. We'll Alain Gislen Kanga be coming up next is in Siva Lacan with Mark Shwamo. As for me, I'll be back same time tomorrow. Good night.